Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is DellaPelle. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Dune Security, joined here by Michael
Waite, co-founder and CTO of Dune Security.
We're here today for a very important reason. User behavior is still counting for roughly 90% of breach origination within large companies. Enterprises today, large companies spend billions on legacy security awareness training, and it fails to reduce user risk. High-risk users aren't held accountable, low-risk users' time is wasted, and it even creates an adversarial relationship between security teams, CISOs, and end users in the company.
It seems like lately in the news, we see more and more headlines of high-profile breaches happening against large enterprises, especially with the advent and widespread adoption and usage of generative AI and LLMs. A lot of the barriers to entry that we historically saw to preventing good attacks, those are gone. It's a lot easier for attackers with very little technical knowledge or background. Hackers are able to run widespread open source intelligence on their employees. They're able to gather essential details that allow them to build trust and rapport with those individuals. They're hitting them still on their corporate emails, but more and more, we see a lot of these attacks happening off channel through encrypted messaging apps that the enterprise has no visibility into. So a lot of attacks on SMS, on WhatsApp, on Telegram, on Signal. So the entire paradigm within the last, I would say, 2 or 3 years has evolved dramatically.
We saw something quite interesting just a couple of weeks ago. The Wall Street Journal had a headline report that said that 20,000 employees in a study at UC San Diego, healthcare employees, they found that there was no correlation between standardized security awareness training and whether they failed a phishing test. And 75% of users spent under 1 minute on a training page, or clicking through as quickly as possible. And over 50% closed training content immediately.
The AI capabilities to run OSINT at scale, these hackers are looking at information about your employees that was involved in data breaches. They typically know their full name, their address, their social security number, a lot of the pieces of information that are necessary to directly call into your IT help desk and get their password and credentials reset. They're able to do this at scale for entire organizations just by knowing your domain name. The quality and the overall fidelities of the attack has increased dramatically, and I think we're just seeing the beginning of that.
And I think you encapsulated some of the incredibly high fidelity attacks, as you call them. The problem with the legacy security awareness training is it treated every single employee like they're the same, whereas we're not limited to 4 risk score factors. We're adding more and more over time. You can think about things like dark web monitoring, exposed credentials. If you're able to apply it to the individual and say to the individual, you're creating this type of risk to this company for these exact reasons, and the content is specifically targeted at that person, it actually can be very effective. So our user risk scoring model empowers teams to prioritize response where it matters most, finding the high-risk employees and locking down that risk. And with Dune Security, CISOs are able to gain real risk reduction, productivity gains, and they can remove this adversarial relationship that can often form between security teams and end users.
There's been a real paradigm shift in the approach that hackers are taking to infiltrate large enterprises. The industry needs a paradigm shift in how we address that. And that's exactly what we're doing at Dune Security. We take a data-driven approach to really holistically understand every individual in the organization, the role that they're in, the nature of the risks associated with that type of roles, the systems that they're working with. With all of this information, we're able to put together such a clear picture of the risk that each individual brings into an organization that, just like you said, it really reduces the adversarial relationship between the security team and the end user. Because low-risk users, we're not wasting their time. We can empower them to do their jobs. But those people who are essential to your organization, but introduce a lot of risk due to the actions that they're taking or the nature of their role, we have mechanisms to directly protect these people. And so the security team and the end users work together in concert, which I think that's what's necessary to meaningfully move the needle in the cybersecurity posture of our organizations.
Today's attackers are fast, relentless across every channel employees use to communicate, whether those are within the corporate network or even outside. And so generic security awareness training is dead. Static, it's disconnected from real tactics. And what's really needed is true risk reduction. We're building Dune Security to be that foundational company in user risk. We're able to reduce risk. We're able to save time, and time is money for both admins and end users. And we can even improve the security culture within the company and remove an adversarial relationship that can form. So thank you so much for the time today.